Welcome back to Wildchat. My name is Callie Wallace, and I talk about everything you need to know surrounding MHS. This week, we're starting a brand new series. We're going to be interviewing different department chairs to find out what each department offers and the planning process they go through for our students here at MHS. This week, we have the head of the language department, Senora Haynes.
Hola.
Thank you for being here with us today.
You're very welcome.
So why don't you just start by telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, well, I have been teaching Spanish at the high school level for over 20 years. I'm married. My husband is a product launch specialist at ISON. I have a son who is a junior at Murray State University who's currently studying abroad in Spain at the Universidad de Sevilla. I love to read. I love to be outdoors. Oh, and we have a cat named Rutherford.
Ooh. Okay, so what made you want to become a Spanish teacher?
I'm very passionate about Spanish. I love being able to speak another language and the opportunities that affords. I've always loved to travel. I like to read in Spanish, watch shows in Spanish, and I really enjoy seeing my students be successful, and especially if they ever come in and say, you know, I've had students who in their jobs, oh, I got to translate for someone today, or I was able to communicate with this person who doesn't speak English, and it's a very rewarding thing. Yeah. I've always been passionate about education.
When did you start speaking Spanish? When did you learn Spanish?
So I started studying as a high school freshman, but I didn't really get over that first hump as far as being able to think and speak in Spanish until I was about a sophomore in college. And that was the first time I studied abroad. I was at Murray State University at the time, and I spent a summer in Segovia, Spain.
Okay, that's rather neat. Or have you taught anywhere else, or just Marian?
I have taught in other places. I got my master's degree from Texas Tech University in Lubbock, Texas. So I was a teaching assistant at that university. I taught Spanish 101. And then as I was completing that degree, I also had a full-time job at a high school in Texas. And then after graduating with my master's, I spent 4 years in Rantoul, Illinois, which is in the central part of the state. And then I transferred to Marian High School in 2007. So I've been here for about 20 years.
What brought you here? Just work? Or?
I grew up in El Dorado, Illinois, and so my family is close by, as well as my husband's family, and we had just had a baby, and we wanted to get closer to family.
Right. So you are the language department, the head of the language department. So what does that entail for you?
So being department chair means that I attend monthly meetings in which I get information that I need to take back to the teachers in my department, and vice versa. If my teachers have a concern or they want to bring something to the attention of the administration, that's a forum in which I can do that. I also am in charge of maintaining and ordering any kind of instructional materials that we use across the department. I maintain and keep organized departmental documents like curriculum maps, collaboration meeting notes, common formative assessments, and those kinds of things, and keep those organized and available to administration.
Right. So I just kind of want to jump into like what available resources we have that might not be as known, or like the what's it called? The biliteracy test?
Sure. So if you make it through 4 years, at the 4th level, we have a couple of really interesting things that happen. First of all, there's a program called Boomerang, which allows my 4th year students to connect with native speakers of Spanish who are hired and vetted through this program from all over the world for immersive video conversations. These last for 15 minutes. We do one a month, and I assign a topic so that they're talking about, you know, holidays and celebrations, or future plans, or community events, things like that. And the students are nervous about it, but they get to meet people from all over the world, and it's always it's a more enjoyable experience than they anticipate when they start. And then we are about to do this week, actually. We participate in the Illinois State Board of Education Seal of Biliteracy program, for which students have to take a standardized test that tests their proficiency level in speaking, reading, writing, and listening in Spanish. And If they perform at the advanced level of that, they earn 8 semester credit hours at any university in Illinois. We do have several students who achieve that goal, and very nearly 100% of our students are performing at the intermediate mid-range of proficiency, which is quite an accomplishment in a 4-year high school program.
Yeah. So what is that test? Is it like speaking, writing?
Yes. So there's 4 separate tests. There's reading comprehension, listening comprehension, which those are objectively scored. And then there is a writing, they have to do presentational writing and then presentational speaking. So there's a video of someone asking them questions and they have to respond. Those responses are recorded and then rated by professionals who are trained on what's called the American Council of Teacher of Foreign Languages Proficiency Guidelines. And then we get those score reports back in about 2 weeks.
So outside of the classroom, what do you recommend for students to do to prepare for that?
So the best thing you can do is get input in that language. Something that many students may not know about is that here at Marion High School in our library, we do have a section of Spanish books. And a lot of those titles are books that a lot of you may have read in your youth, like Diary of a Wimpy Kid or Harry Potter or Percy Jackson and other titles that were popular. So reading a familiar book in Spanish. I also encourage my students I also have a bunch of titles in my classroom that students can borrow. I listen to podcasts in Spanish. Right now I'm listening to one called Leyendas Legendarias, which is really interesting. I also recommend, watch a familiar show. You can change the language on a lot of your streaming services. So pick a show that you're familiar with. Change your language to Spanish, even use Spanish subtitles if you need to. It's going to help you follow the story. And so the more input that you can get in the language, the better off you'll be.
Well, that's rather neat. I'm looking forward to taking that test next year.
Excellent.
I want to start preparing now, so some of those questions are going to help me too.
Yes, well, check out the library and check out my own personal collection of books. I'm happy to loan them out.
So is there anything else that you'd like to add about the Spanish department?
No, I'm really proud of everything we're achieving. I think our students are amazing, and I'm grateful for each and every one of them, and I'm excited to see what the future brings.
Well, thank you for joining me today. Thank you for listening, Wildcats. If there's anything you'd like to hear about or anyone you'd like to hear from, just let me know on the surveys that I have attached. Thank you.